Michael Stratton Jr.
How you doing, man?
Oh, man.
So you have an interesting story. Black belt under Megaton.
Yep.
Drove to Arizona over and
Yep,
over and
that's
over
part of
again.
it. That's part of it, yeah.
Yeah.
That was really cool. You was telling me about that last time.
Honestly, we could start there.
Let's
we
do
could
it.
start there. That's on it. If we're gonna go chronologically though, that's pretty far to the end. But, because most of the journey started 12 years old wrestling and all that, right? But yeah, the Megaton is an interesting one. I was supposed to be technically a Gracie Barra black belt. I think was the original plan, but didn't work out. Didn't mesh well at the time. What was that? Gosh, what year was that? I gotta remember. 2007 was when I started the gi. Yeah, started the gi 2007. Was all no gi before that, and was on Gracie Barra, and then didn't mesh well with the guy that was running it at the time. Not the team so much. I love Gracie Barra, but the guy. So I ended up doing my own thing, which, believe it or not, crazy, was to start your own gym as a blue belt. Right, and that's the big nuts.
This guy right here.
Yeah, I know. We've talked about
We have
this
so
before,
many
bro.
similarities.
It's insane.
It's crazy.
No, and which I give him the reason why I think it's crazier is because I did it in 2010. More acceptable back then, man. Like honestly, if I could have made the argument that I had no other choice, like I would have had to drive to Marin or Santa Rosa, and the Santa Rosa guy I'd already trained with, right? So I kind of had no option. You went really out on a limb and said, yeah, there's options, but I want to do my own thing. I've always felt like we had a lot in common there, man.
So part of that was my instructor was leaving the place that I was at. There really was no like primary instructor behind him. And so what I did is I started the kickboxing studio, and then me loving jiu-jitsu got a little,
Turned into like MMA.
It became,
Turned into MMA.
I wanted to train, but I was working a full-time job. I was at the studio basically full-time, but I wanted to do jiu-jitsu. I was like, how do I get this done?
Right.
And
He showed me some shit, and that's how I got into it.
yeah, we started
I didn't
like,
want to do jiu-jitsu.
we started like open training.
Like in his garage or here?
We started at the first studio.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were only in the garage for a couple months.
Okay.
And then we got that first place. And I'm like, man, I gotta get back doing jiu-jitsu. And I was like, hey guys, come here. And so as a blue belt, I started showing, techniques and that sort of thing. But it was more like a jiu-jitsu club is what we call it.
Right. And it was in a kickboxing gym.
Yeah.
And I think that you took the same angle that I took, because you knew in your heart, I can't say I'm a jiu-jitsu gym, I'm a blue belt, right? And I knew that in my heart even back in 2010. So I didn't open Esteem Jiu-Jitsu or Esteem BJJ.
Yeah.
I opened Esteem Martial Arts. Yeah. And on our front banner, it said wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and MMA, because that's the things that we did. And at the time, I still had a professional MMA license, because I did two MMA fights. I did one amateur fight, and then I got my pro license and I did one professional fight.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, and at the time I wasn't sure if it was going to be UFC bound or if it was bucket list. Ended up being bucket list. I tell you what, that's a stressful job.
Yeah.
That's a very stressful job. You get about 20 minutes of happiness, at least I did. Some people feed off that. Some people are built for it. There's gonna be people see this, oh no, I'd love it. Maybe you would. Maybe you would. I didn't. I was only happy when the fight was over. And then once you got that second fight, like, oh, got another one lined up for you, instantly back to nerves.
How'd you do in the fights?
I won both of them,
Nice.
right? Yeah, I won the amateur one was actually tougher. The amateur one was cool too. A little story behind that. Frank Shamrock was trying to start a reality show because The Ultimate Fighter was so popular, right? It was 2007.
I remember that.
Yeah, 2007, and the Ultimate Fighter was like two years in, really popular. Frank Shamrock wanted a piece of that, right? So he did his own little He did his own little thing where he got this guy who was trying to clean his life up. He was a gangster, did some jail time. He wanted to use MMA to get him on the right track. Cool, I like the idea, but he was supposed to beat me. Didn't happen. Sorry, guys. Choked him out.
Ouch.
Right? No, actually, I didn't choke that guy out. I beat him up for 3 rounds. He was tough as nails. I give him credit. I couldn't finish him, but I dominated one. The reality show never happened. That was the what do they call
brought
it?
you in.
I wasn't that off track at the time, right?
Right.
But what do they call that when you offer a show to it's like a trailer, not a trailer, but something pilot. It was the pilot episode they were filming, and it didn't make it. But nevertheless, I ended up trying a pro fight after that, and then when I quit Gracie Baja to open my own gym, I just leaned on that. Like you said, kickboxing. I leaned on. Well, I got a pro license. We're in MMA school.
Yeah.
Right. That's how it started.
That's dope. Huh?
Yeah, but that turned into Megaton. That's a perfect lead into what you were talking about with Megaton because I was Ronin, masterless. I was a masterless martial artist, right? Blue belt with a gym.
So similar.
Right? Who craved progress, right? I didn't want to, like some people would say, screw it, I'll be a blue belt and just never put the gi on again and just fight and train and whatever. And I was like, no, I want to keep progressing, right?
Yeah.
And I knew I needed
You need that too.
You need,
especially for school.
and even though it's the day and age of you learning on YouTube or whatever, like you need a professor, man. And I knew that. So I started looking through my careers out there. Herb Cody, a good friend of mine from back in the day, Herb Cody Jr., hooked me up with Team Megaton. He knew Cecil Birch. Cecil Birch is Megaton's right-hand man, you know, and he got me in the door. I met Megaton, and it was all over from there. And then it consisted of the trips out to Megs, driving to Phoenix. Lots of driving out to Phoenix.
How often would you do that?
Well, when I was on the grind, and on the grind consists of being purple to brown, brown to black, right? I got my purple belt and brown belt from Cecil Birch. And he told me straight up, he told me before he even gave me my brown belt, I'm not giving you a black belt. Megaton's got to give you a black belt. And he said, and Megaton ain't going to give you a black belt, straight up, the way you're doing it. You got to go train with Megaton, right? And he ain't even going to do it just, you bring him out for a seminar, that's cool and all too, but he wants to train with you. That's Meg. Meg is not in this for the money, never has been. He's pretty much the ideal human for me to be under personally. And that was how it was. I knew I had to get out there. At the time, though, I forget what year it was, 2014 or something, 2015, 2013, so whatever. Gas was way cheaper. And I did the math, and it was going to be more expensive to fly and rent a car and get a hotel and all that. So I was like, well, if I just drive my own car and just put gas in it, I'll save money, a few $100, and I was broke. So that's what I did. I drove 15 hours.
I was going to ask, 15 hours,
15 hours I drove to go train. And to answer your question, how often, once I got my brown belt from Cecil and I knew black belt was only going to come from Meg, it was pretty much every month at least once, and certain months when there was like Pans coming up or Worlds coming up, it was 3 weeks at a time. So the majority of the time I'd spend there, right? But here's the problem, I had to come back to teach classes, right? Because I have my right-hand man, Brett, who's been with me since 2011, January of 2011, 4 months after we opened. The guy started with me 13 years ago.
Nice.
And so he was helping me a little bit, but he's got a job, he's got a life. He can't just run the gym for me, right? So it's like I had to get back. So I was basically, for 3 weeks, I'd be driving back for go spend 3 days there, come back for 2 days, go there for 3 days, come back. And it was a lot. It was a lot, but it was worth it. Megaton noticed. Obviously, how could you not? How do you not notice? At one point, it got embarrassing even. He'd say things like, you guys complain about 45-minute drives? How far did you drive, Michael? And I'm like, oh, man, don't make me 15 hours. Oh.
Well, that's also what, inspired me also is, we were talking about me being a blue belt, opening a kickboxing studio. And so once the jiu-jitsu club got, a handful of people and stuff, I was bringing in the professor that had left the previous one like once a week, twice a week. And it got to the point where then it was once a week and then once every couple of weeks, and he couldn't make it. And I was like, man. And then that's where I started training, going to the open trainings and that sort of thing at Esteem. And and I had...
You needed that progression as well.
I did. At the point, I was like, I'll just be a blue belt forever. Just whatever. I don't care about the rank. I just need to get my skills up. And you actually came to me and was like, you got to do it for your guys. You got to do it for you. You got to do it for your guys. Yeah. He was like, you got to get in. It's right here in Petaluma, right? It's a 15-minute drive. I drove 15 hours, and I'm like,
That was a little too perfect that worked out. Yeah.
fuck. All right, you're right. I'm in. And yeah, and that kind of goes into my next topic is just got my brown belt.
Yes.
The grind that I've been doing has been kind of stressful for me over this last like year and a half. Because of that conversation and everything, I have to get my brown belt, right? And so it's not about getting the brown belt, it's about getting the skills to have the brown belt.
Of course.
And so it's been kind of a grind. Every, classes, I'm not necessarily there to have fun, I'm trying to get, the skills. This last week, I had a blast. The belt came and everything, but I'm laughing, and we're doing our sparring and our positional sparring and everything, and I'm laughing, I'm having a blast, and things are clicking way more than they were 2 weeks ago. It was such a weird sensation.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, do you attribute that to a honeymoon of a new belt? It's a honeymoon still, bro.
Yeah, no, I think it's just that I didn't go in as like a study. I just went in to have fun.
Exactly, and before it was like the grind becomes
Yeah.
like the 9 to 5.
Right.
And now that that's done, I'm not even thinking about it. It's just okay. Yeah, it is a honeymoon phase, right?
I also feel like with you, man, like that was it was very important that you get that first, like, because it was a new gym for you.
Yeah.
You hadn't been promoted there ever before. Well, I didn't give you a purple belt, right?
Correct.
So, like, that's a little bit of a stress weight,
Yeah.
small kind on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Now it's gone.
And it's gone.
I've said it before. Whether you gave me a blue belt, purple belt, whatever, I wanted a belt from you.
Right,
And,
yeah.
And so, that's what the grind was for. Is because I've been training there, for what is it, like 3 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look back. I got my purple belt. I think it was 3 years, 2 months ago, something like that. And I had been training at the open trainings and stuff a little bit before that.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a belt under you, right? And so I say that I'm an esteemed member and that I'm under you and everything, but I didn't have a belt from you, and that kind of ate at me. And now it's like, bam, I'm official. I have the lineage under you.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I know what you mean. Because, like, as a white belt, there's a reason you don't have a belt yet. You're a white belt. But if you're a colored belt and you're at a gym and never received a belt there,
Yes.
that's a nice little weight off your shoulders. You're on the team. You got to, it was really perfect, too, because I think you spent the right amount of time on the team. First, like, whenever you come to a new team, this is good for anybody that ever is a colored belt joining a new team, you need to expect to treat your belt as if you just got it.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to. You can never expect time served on your belt because you have no time served at that gym. So you're a purple belt, you walk into a gym for the first time, you might at your old gym have been that close to your brown belt, and now you're 2 to 3 years away, right? And just accept that. And if it matters that much to you, probably ask yourself why. Because unless you're planning on quitting at a certain point and you're in a rush to quit, therefore you're in a rush to get that belt so you can quit, unless that's the case, just train.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
For sure.
And at getting the brown and black belt is almost like a relationship with your coach, because you go somewhere else and I can claim that I'm a brown belt under you. That comes with a reputation, right?
Right, attached to it.
Yeah, exactly. So you getting your black belt under Megaton, there's a representation that carries with you, and so getting a blue belt under somebody is fantastic, but it doesn't carry that same weight of getting one of the higher.
Of course.
If you get a brown or black belt, I feel like there's not just the technique and everything. It's like, all right, I'm signing off on this guy. I think he's got something.
100%.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it means. That's why we stress about belting people. Yeah. That's why I went from doing it myself to having 2 other black belts that also teach my classes with me sit there and veto each other, because we do. And it's really amazing that the 3 black belts that we have at Esteem that go over it, the professors there, which is me, Jack, and Brett, right? There's other black belts, but they're student black belts, right? When we sit down, it's really funny how it works out well, where we got the one guy who always wants to make everybody wait another 6 months. That's Coach Brett. Coach Brett wants to make everybody. And then you got the nice parent, that's me, that's like, come on, they've been doing so good. And then you got Jack, who's so cerebral. He's right in the middle going, hold on, guys, let's look at this, right? It's perfect. It works out well. So anybody that gets a belt at the gym, blue all the way up to black, it's been thought through and brainstormed on.
It's not just like, here you go, you put it in time.
I was telling my wife about that. I was like, I know they sit down and they talk. I wonder what that conversation was.
A fly on the wall on that one.
What the heck were they talking about? because I roll with all three of you guys, and every time I roll with the three of you, it's a completely different roll. You guys have completely different styles, and so. Man, Jack gives me the roughest.
That dude's a savage.
Yeah, and it's fantastic.
And
he also takes away any excuses, right? Because he's 145, 150.
Yeah, he's the proof. I call him the proof.
And so I just weighed myself today. I'm up to 143.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, and that was
Did you eat a lot of sodium last night?
That was. I actually feel like there's
carbs.
a couple things that are clicking that I can do now that I couldn't do at 135 pounds. It's only 8 pounds, but just a little extra on the hip escape, just a little extra on the post.
When you're 135 pounds, 8 pounds equals a higher percentage of your overall weight.
Right,
You're adding bigger percentages of power than a guy who's 200 adding 8 pounds.
Right.
Yeah, man, makes sense.
Yeah. When I competed at 170, my first tournament, I was 170, got crushed. And then the second one I did as a white belt, I was 135. And I won like 2 out of the 5 matches.
Yeah.
And it was like a breeze,
drop,
dude.
right?
He came from 240, right?
No, I remember. I saw. I
240.
watched the video, bro. That's insane.
And
But 170, dude, I was getting crushed.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
fuck, dude, these dudes are
my
big.
And
God.
170, 155s are stacked.
Yeah.
Like those divisions.
I was just fat.
Well, I mean, the truth is the most athletic, like, weight you could be is not the biggest guy.
Right,
It's not. It's that, like, 185 to 205 pound range. Those are the guys that tend to win the open weight divisions in the tournament. Oh, they got the power, the speed, they got everything, right? And if you're in the 170 division, they ain't too far off of those. They ain't too far away from those guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a big difference, dude. For sure.
With the small guy thing, it's kind of crazy. You're always told to like run people, make the bigger person tired, and then the buzzer hits.
It's not a bad idea at all.
And then the fresh big guy comes in. It's
Buzzer
like,
hits, I know.
Oh!
Make him tired. Coach puts on a 2-minute round. You're like, make him tired. All right.
That is tough. And so that's something that I've really experienced is like, I have pretty good cardio. I can go deep. If they're my size, I can go way, way longer, right? But everything's kind of like a max press with a bigger guy. Whether it's a hip escape, whatever. So I feel like I burn out much quicker.
Makes sense.
And so it's a tough situation because I don't like blaming my size. And we were talking about Jack. It's like he thrashes everyone forever. And so I know there's a technical ability that I can get to offset it. But there's so few small people in jiu-jitsu that last. So I was looking at the numbers. 10% of the male population is under 140.
You're talking about that train or in general?
In general.
Okay. Under?
Yeah, there's 10% that are under.
Where are all those
140.
little dudes hanging out?
Exactly, that's my point.
One's right here, one's right here.
And here we are. But we were lined up by rank when we did the gauntlet and everything,
Right.
and there was one person smaller.
Lined
than
up by
me.
size. Yeah.
Size.
Yeah.
And I was like,
One person smaller than
I
you.
was like, what the heck? And he was a brown belt, right? So he's gone through
Little
the
Adam.
thrash, and he was like, welcome to the club, we've made it. You've made it.
Yeah.
Being a smaller guy, and it is. I think we just take a little more abuse.
100%, dude. 100%.
I get smashed all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, if I just make it through the fucking round, I'm proud. Like, I didn't get tapped, you didn't tap me, and you got fucking 50 pounds on me, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You know?
if you don't get and that's kind of to the point I would make is that should be the goal right there. Just don't
Exactly,
get
yeah.
time. I mean,
Yeah.
if you and me and you've talked about this. I talk about this with so many of my students, man, because so many people feel like you need to be trying to win, and it's a very rare case in life where, because usually you hear, hey, if you're fighting to not lose, that's no good. You need to fight to win. Don't fight to not lose.
Yeah.
But it's weird as it is, you gotta do jiu-jitsu to not lose. Okay? Like if I go out there against a guy who I know is good and I start attacking right away, you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
They're gonna pass your guard. They're gonna see giant openings. They're gonna see what you're doing. You're going to maybe fail to set something up or whatever. But if your 100% goal is solely to block and to defend and to keep it 0-0, like that mentality alone, will keep you less, you'll have better endurance,
Yeah,
conditioning.
holding the position instead of just attacking.
Absolutely, man. And then you'll see the openings to attack. And the openings to attack will be so clear that you can't resist them. You will end up winning, but your goal will have been just to survive, just to keep it 0-0, right?
I'm a little bit off on that. My brother was 5 years older and turned out to be 6'4", and so I was always looking up, and he bullied the shit out of me. And so I, even at school and stuff, if somebody picked on me, it was always win or lose. I'm swinging. I'm trying to, cause something to happen. I'm probably gonna lose. I know I'm gonna lose, but I'm gonna get you first. Like, or I'm gonna.
That's what I was always told, dude.
I'm gonna get something off. I'm gonna make you not want to do it again, even if you win.
And that's true. But if you put yourself in a situation of an observer of that situation, right, where you're watching a little guy, you're watching a little guy get picked on by a big guy, and you see big guy go after him and fail multiple times, not lose. Big guy didn't get knocked out like you're saying, like, I'm gonna go out and try. But if you just see him not win, that's impressive to me, man. To me, because like if little guy lands a shot on the chin, that could be considered a Hail Mary lucky punch. If my man survives an onslaught, there's something to that. Like for me, the most impressive jiu-jitsu in the world, and I've told a lot of people this, man, I just was talking to my students that got promoted about this, right? Some of them, is watching people defeat nature. Right, that's why I'm impressed with guys like Coach Jack. Right, like he's 140 pounds. If all things were equal, and he didn't train and I didn't train, nature chose me to win that fight. I'm 175 pounds. He's 140. But nature chose me. So if you can counter nature, and that doesn't mean you beat me. It just means I don't beat you. Right, like I'll roll with my wife. Okay, brown belt. Again. Small, 135, it's like, and I'll be going hard at her, running into brick walls. I'm not necessarily getting armbarred every 15 seconds, I'm not. But I'm also a grown man trying really hard to get by this woman's legs. And to me, that's proof. That's like nature can't even, like,
It makes sense.
That's the proof. And that's like the most impressive thing. So I feel, and it's more attainable. How much more attainable is it for you to get so good at defending that you have a thou shalt not pass kind of guard? It's just impassable, right? Then rather than saying, I'm gonna catch this dude in a boot choke every time we spar. No, you're not. If you catch me once, shame on you, but not twice, then it's shame on me. You ain't gonna, but you might stuff my guard passing,
Against the untrained person, jiu-jitsu works wonders, right? Me being the smaller guy and stuff, I was like the blue belt jack at a gym that I was at. A new guy came in, he's 250, 300 pounds. Like, hey, go roll with Nick.
You're the proof.
And it's like, oh, boom. So no issue with, the untrained big guys, but the more, when the skill...
That's what I do better too.
When the skill discrepancy...
And they put in skill, they're like, fuck.
When the skill discrepancy is tight, the size is what starts to matter most, unless you're jacked.
Right. No, I know what you mean, but it just makes that rule that you should apply all the more important, man. And here's the crazy thing about new guys is that new guys will bring the heat. Like a new college wrestler white belt that's like not necessarily there to learn, but there to see if he can whoop on you because he's curious.
Physical.
Buddy, they'll bring the heat, man. And under those circumstances, you'll see me apply what I'm telling you to apply to black belts.
Right.
Is he a black belt? No, he's a brand new white belt that couldn't tie his own belt, but he's bringing the heat. So I'm blocking. And I've done that before with new college wrestler kind guys where I don't try to kill them right away. They'll give me their neck eventually, 100% of the time they will. But I'm blocking and I'm defending and I'm waiting for them to stop and take a deep breath. And that's what I wait for. And then they stop and they take a deep breath, and usually they'll look up in eye contact with you, and then you smile. And you smile, and you smile, and you say, and they know, and then you smile and you say, keep going, bud, good job, keep going, right? And then they do, and then you take a neck, take whatever. But it's still the same rule of thumb: block, 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 defend, defend, Don't worry about winning. Winning will fall in your lap.
I've definitely noticed that with wrestlers is they come at you hard. They're working for that 30-second round or that burst of energy before they
got it.
They get a breath.
They got it. Yeah.
But yeah, if you can defend, there's usually something that is just an arm out, a neck out, just something.
Oh gosh.
Thank you.
Right, the neck is all long. Thanks.
But they have amazing control and everything. It's just
phenomenal.
Not used to having the submission game.
And it helps it with wrestlers that I wrestled.
Yeah.
I wrestled. That was what I did first.
Yeah.
So I also have that.
So when me and you roll a lot, you get super low. I'm like, fuck.
Super, what is it?
Super low. And
Super
you're like
low.
crouched down. I'm like, well, I can't shoot on that.
You mean when we're on the feet? Absolutely, I get low, bro. I like that low single too. So I'm
And it throws me off so bad because I'm like, and part of it, I was talking to somebody about this, I forget who, but with you, I get so in my head that I'm like, all right, I'm here, I know I need to go that direction, but I know you got way more experience in this, so I want to go in that direction, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll go this way, and it's not the right move, and then it's just, I gotta go that direction, get caught, and just do it again. Go that direction, go the right way, and screw trying to be creative and like do something unpredictable. Just go do the basics, do the fundamentals, and get caught until you're not.
You against me, that match particularly, you should be instantly pulling.
Yeah.
You should be baseball slide pulling guard on me. I mean, I have wrestling experience, man. I'm bigger, right?
Yeah.
And a higher belt. You're trying to get underneath me, bro. Right away. You're like, you're not letting me get that because I get that grip, like push and pull and because you shouldn't just get a grip.
Right.
Never just grab a gi.
Yeah.
Were you trying to feel the texture? Like no, you grab that thing to punch them in the shoulder, or to yank them, or to punch, yank, pull, all that. You never just grab it. So your attitude is slide, baseball slide underneath me, and then
you think
block.
that's a better strategy to be underneath the bigger guy?
Absolutely. There's nothing easier for me than to be playing with my kids and have my light little kids on my feet. They're so light, I lift them up in the air. That's what littler guys feel like. If you have a good guard, and you're a bigger dude, I'll sit to my butt every time. I'm more worried about being on top against certain types of particular. The goal is always to be on top. And I had this talk with my kids class the other day. I saw some kids that were on top pull guard and yank the other kid on top. And I'm like, hey guys, I know you got a good guard, but let's remember the goal. We want to be on top and stay on top.
Every point in jiu-jitsu happens from a top position.
Right. For the most part, right? You can finish it off your back, of course, and that's what they get all hooked on is those submissions on the back. But yeah, my mentality is to definitely be on top, but to have a lighter guy in my guard is like the best feeling in the world to me. So yeah, you should want to absolutely be underneath me. And then, because here's the other reason, right? This is important. The advice I was given was to block, right? Defend. If I pull and he's on top, who has the obligation to go, me or you?
I gotta pass.
You have to pass my guard. If I'm on bottom, he can't block. He's got to go. Yes, right? That's what I want.
So you get out the bigger guys going.
Right. You pull on me though, and now all of a sudden you can apply all that advice your coach gave you. Block. I'm going to keep it 0-0, bro. I'm going to keep it 0-0. That's it. From underneath though. That's where jiu-jitsu's different. It's not like I'd be giving wrestling advice like that. This is jiu-jitsu. You pull guard.
Definitely.
So Dylan, where are you on your 5% body fat?
We're halfway through right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, I talked to a coach previously and asked him how long it'd take. Sent him pictures of where I was at, and he was about 5% body fat. And I'm like, with these macros and my calories and everything, how long do you think it'd take me to get there? And he told me 90 days. So we're shooting for 90 days. So we're halfway through right now.
Okay. So time wise, you're halfway through.
I mean, will I get there? I don't know.
Right.
Even if I don't, it's like I'm gonna make progress because there's gonna be progress at the end of the 6 weeks. So we got 6 more weeks to go. If I lose 2 to 3 pounds a week, it should be pretty close. So, and if not, then we're just gonna keep going, go further.
So I've had a bunch of people ask me the question. 5% body fat is really low, and I kind of touched on it in the last one. But you don't plan to stay at 5%.
No, I just want to
Yeah.
lean down and then go back up. I'm not gonna stay there for sure.
Is it too low? I don't know.
It is. So
Seems
professional.
ripped to me.
They say 12 is like optimal.
Oh,
for men,
okay,
you know,
okay.
but
8 to 10 is like a professional athlete typically. A bodybuilder gets down to about 3.5-4% for that hour that they're on stage. Yeah.
And then a wrestler making weight, 0.5% for about 10 seconds on that scale, right?
The Conor McGregor 45. Yeah.
They're carrying the MMA fighter into the scale, right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Crazy.
yeah, so we're just gonna, you know.
You
keep
feel
going.
good though? You don't feel low energy, nothing like that as the percentage trickles
As
down?
he's drinking.
Yeah.
Did you
What is
drink?
that one?
So,
Oh, I thought it was alcohol.
No.
Okay.
But I did when I was working. I was working 2 jobs, working almost like 80 hours a week,
Drained.
sleeping 3-4 hours a night, and I was just fucking done by the end of the day.
I bet.
So I definitely felt it then. I haven't felt it so much now. I feel like I have more energy. I'm sleeping better, and we'll just keep tracking the progress until I feel like no energy. That's where we'll be.
So I guess we'll get the big reveal at the end.
Yeah.
What
We'll see
about
how-
the
how it
stress?
goes.
Are you stressing that you quit your job and everything? I remember
I
watching that. I
am.
watched that
I
last
am.
video. He's like, I quit my job.
Yeah, I was scared, dude. I woke up the next day like, fuck.
Well, how's that working out?
So far, we're just playing it by ear, seeing how it's going.
Still though,
Yeah.
he's committed.
Yep.
And
Still surviving.
I
There you
mean,
go.
we did that with the gyms and the businesses and everything.
Right.
It's crazy.
Right,
In order to
right.
get anything that's rewarding in life, you got to make a sacrifice. You got
True
to
story.
you got to go in 100% on something.
And I'm not ready, but I feel like we just had to kind of take that leap, because I want to pursue something bigger than just trading time for money and
Yeah, of course.
make something happen. And I'm never gonna be fully ready, and I'm never gonna be financially ready. So I was like, you know what?
No such thing.
I'm not getting any
Yeah,
younger. My kids are getting older.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it, dude. I can't do this
Yeah.
anymore. So I just took the leap, and hopefully it'll all work out.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes I wish I wasn't so intellectual about things because some people that don't have the highest IQ are like, let's do this, and they jump into something.
No
and like,
thinking it.
And like I say, starting a gym and stuff as a blue belt was stupid. Every way that you look at it, it's
On
stupid.
paper.
But,
shit,
but
everybody's like, that's
you know,
stupid.
that
You know?
mindset, is like, all right, I'm not gonna fail at this. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get it done.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that is really what makes you grow. Also,
Yeah.
you can get everything in a row as much as you can, but there's still a cliff you got to jump off to get that next step. And I think we all face it. And there's so many people in life that never take that jump. And they settle into a regular job, or they settle into a life where they're not super happy or content.
Yeah.
Happiness will come if you're striving for something.
Right.
If you're being lazy and not doing what you think you need to, you're not going to be happy. But accomplishments and stuff, definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah. And to be honest, man, you could take leaps and be safer than you think, man. It's risky and it's scary, but like, if you got people in your life, like you could have anybody. It doesn't even have to be like close family. If you just got friends, if you got any circle of people, they are a safety net for you. They care about you. They're proud of you.
Yeah.
They are. They might be like, you crazy, bro, but that's because they're worried about you, right? And it's like, in people, you hear a lot of kind of like flack, like, oh, my family's telling me I shouldn't do it. Well, they love you, bro.
Yeah.
They love you.
Yeah.
They don't want to see you gamble and lose,
Right.
but at the same time, they're going to be there to catch you too. Like, I always knew I was taking a risk starting a gym, but I always knew, should it fail and crumble, people love me, man. I'm not going to end up under a bridge.
Tell me what if you experienced this too. When I first started a gym and we had 15 members, those members were literally like family. It's such a tight knit that you see them all the time, and they are with you 100% trying to make this with you. And when one leaves, whether they moved or anything, it's like a breakup. It's like, oh
It's
man,
heartbreaking.
do you not like me?
Oh, are you kidding me? Yeah. And that's when they just move and have to move.
Yeah.
Imagine, wait till you get to the point where you have a big student leave you because he straight up isn't happy with the training anymore, and that kind of, like, you'll experience it, man. I mean, I've had the gym for 13 years now. The only thing that I've been blessed to not experience yet was losing somebody like a casualty, losing a student, like that's the only thing I've been blessed so far not to deal with. But I got a buddy that owns a gym, up in where is it, Ukiah, and he told me straight up that happened to me, man. He just had a student die. Like, if you own a gym long enough, you're gonna experience everything. You'll have that student that you never knew was a criminal that, oh my God, they're in jail. You'll have that student that passes away. You'll have the top student leave you, right? You'll experience all that, man. Like, it's
That's right.
par for the course eventually.
Yeah. And I think it's different in like a regular box gym, right? You go to Planet Fitness, nobody really cares. But these types of settings, even if you've only been going like 6 months, we still care. As a coach and stuff, it's kind of crazy because we literally put what we have been working for our entire life, and we're trying to get you there also. And so a coaching thing is so intimate almost, right? We're studying the person and we're trying to give them tips and techniques and growth. And to see somebody leave it, it's really sad. And I don't think a lot of students realize how much we actually care.
Well, I empathize with them, and I can understand that they probably view us the way they view Planet Fitness. A lot of them, where it's just kind of like, does Planet Fitness get bummed if I don't show up? No, they want you to not show up.
Yeah, I know this guy gets bummed out.
Yeah, man, like coaches will hit you up and stuff, and it's like, it's different.
Yeah.
But they don't understand that, and I've had students that I was like almost like, my feelings were hurt, where it's like, you're just gonna quit, and for not even a reason. Like this one guy was so honest with me. He's like, no, I just don't want to do it no more. He didn't even give me the, oh, I got stuff going on, I got work. He's just like,
I would rather have that.
I'm just not into it. I was like, oh.
I would rather have I would rather have a straight answer than it's money. It's
You're
time,
tougher than me, bro. I'm like, lie to me, bro. Tell me grandma needs your help or something. Jeez.
I like to problem solve. So if I know the actual reason, I'm good with it. I can accept that. But if it's, hey, I got money issues. Okay, let's fix it. Okay, I got.
Oh, I love it when they tell me that, because then they get to find out how little I give about money. I don't care about money. If any of my students want an excuse to not train, don't say money.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, guess what? I don't care about your money. Come train, bro. Yeah, you better fake an injury if you want to get out of training with me, man, because I don't care. Yeah. I should. But that's a good example right there of a guy who didn't start this gym because I was an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like every now and then I'll try to act like I am because I own a business, so I'll be like, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur, I should wake up early. And then I'm like, no, you're not an entrepreneur, Michael, you're a jiu-jitsu guy that loves grappling and has, to be completely honest, failed multiple ways at running your business and somehow persevered because people like the gym. Like, that's why I'm still around, man. People, like during the pandemic, people were hitting me up like, you let me know.
Yeah.
If you feel like you might go under, no, you're not going to go under. And we made our sacrifices as a family, but everybody made it really clear, like, just so you know, Coach, it seems not going anywhere. And so it's nice, man. That's why that gym's still around, because all the people.
That was a good kind of sifting time also. We lost about half of the members, but there was 50% that stayed are like still with us.
Oh, and they're going nowhere.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
And so you could tell, who was committed and who was just there to get some exercise in.
That's why, I won't show up 2-3 months, won't be here 2-3 months, and I'm still paying it. And everyone's like,
right?
why? I'm like, because I like the guy.
Come on, right?
Yeah, we developed that relationship. It's not about the money and shit. So.
No, it's true. Now some people get it, but for the ones that do treat it like it's your business, and I don't mind, because I understand why you don't get it. But if you hang around long enough, you realize it's a family. And if you're just like at home, if somebody loses their job, you don't kick them out the house, right? That is what it is.
I got a jiu-jitsu question for you.
What's that?
Why do you like coach? I have my reasons, but why do you like coach instead of professor?
I think professor is a little bit. I don't feel. I'm Americanized. I'm Westernized. Yeah. So to me, I had wrestling coaches all my life, and that was the top. There wasn't like something higher than coach on the mat. It was coach. Yeah. He was the man, and I had professors also. I had many. Like Megaton also doesn't require people call him professor. I think it's just more of a westernized thing. I'm coach. I'm Coach Michael. But again, I don't correct people. They call me professor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I like coach.
Well, I think you have to be because you're not black belt yet.
I am not a black belt.
No, you don't. You're a professor once you get that black belt.
Looking at, and it's a similar thing as that Western society, because if you go to, Portuguese, it's professors basically coach or teacher.
Professor, yeah, exactly.
And so coach is kind of the, Western version of it. So
Right.
I don't know, being an American, and I've had, Brazilian instructors and professors, and I just, even when I get my black belt,
you'll be coach.
It's coach. I'm here to help and coach you, right?
Right.
And if you're Brazilian, that's teacher, that's coach, and so professor fits for the Brazilians in my mind. And then,
But would you ever correct somebody? If a guy was like, "Hey, professor, can I show me the soundbar?"
I like coach.
You would
I
correct
coach.
him, huh?
I like
Okay,
coach,
yeah.
and the reason I like coach is because I'm here to help and coach you.
Yeah.
The teacher's good. If I was Brazilian, that would mean teacher, so I would fall in line with that. But here, kind of professor means a different thing for a Western person.
I mean, I get some guys, bro, because maestre is teacher, master, same thing. Some guys call me master, bro.
Yeah.
You know how awkward that is?
That
you know
is
how awkward it
extremely
is
awkward.
for a guy to be like,
a white
master,
guy.
bro. They call you master and you want to correct him, but I still don't. I don't know why. Because you know why? Because I feel like that's their experience. That's their experience. They're coming into a martial arts school and they're hoping for an experience, right?
Yeah.
And they're hoping to have a sensei. They don't want a coach.
Yeah.
They don't want a personal trainer. They want a sensei. So I've had guys call me sensei. I have guys call me master. I have guys call me professor.
I've gotten Sifu,
And Sifu,
yeah.
I haven't gotten. But I've
the
had
striking side of things, yeah.
the way I see it is that person is trying to experience that experience they wanted.
Yeah.
I'm good with it, man. If you want to bow to me 7 times, man, and call me master, look, it doesn't feed my ego. My ego's big enough. It can't get any bigger, and it's very awkward. Very awkward. I don't enjoy it by any sense, and I'm kind of looking around, hope nobody's watching. Just stand up, bro. But at the same time, I feel like that's them trying to do what they always wanted to do in a martial arts school. So cool. Have fun, bro. That's a good topic. Ego. That's a good one to talk about. Do we have another 3 hours?
Because you're talking about
bro, me and him have had talks because I admittedly have a giant ego, and I've always felt like I couldn't avoid it because I run a gym full of alpha males. Right? You got a gym where if you're an alpha dude in your circle of friends, you're the guy who trains. You're like, I'm a blue belt. I beat all my friends' asses. I'm gonna go to the gym now with my alpha energy. So I've always felt the need to flex and be bigger than their energy. And I remember me and this guy had a conversation once, and I told him straight up, my ego fills this whole room. There's no room for anity else's ego in this place. And to be completely honest though, man, I gotta work on that so bad. Because it doesn't have to be that way, Michael, right? It doesn't have to be that way, but I've made it that way. That's been my tool.
In jiu-jitsu, you're always saying, kill the ego, or not you, but in general, they're saying kill the ego.
You want to get rid of it.
Everyone,
You need
everyone
it.
has.
I've always felt like I did.
Everyone has a bit of an ego, and I think the more competitive you go, the more you have to have an ego. You look at Conor McGregor and most of the best UFC fighters, MMA fighters,
They're oozing ego.
It is ridiculous, and you have to be so self-absorbed to be like, I am the best. I don't care.
Right.
I'm gonna be the champion.
Right. And it's similar to that, but it's more of a leadership role where it's kind of like the dad of the family wouldn't necessarily say, I'm the best in the world at doing this, but they would say, this is my squad of people, and I am the leader. And if you're flexing up like you might be the next leader, you're not, So there's still it's more of a leadership thing, because I would be the first to admit my jiu-jitsu ain't the best. I got some jack whoops my ass. Brett chokes me all the time. I got students that spank me. So it ain't my jiu-jitsu, it's more of the leadership role.
With that, I was last week I was saying, you guys are the black belts of black belts. So there's different levels to black belts. When I go up against you guys, so when I first started, purple belts were like gods.
Right, I remember that feeling too.
And
that feeling.
if I were to, there's other places where the black belts are good, but I feel like you guys are gods even though I've reached the rank of brown belt. So that white belt to purple belt, I feel that now to you guys. I'm like, oh my God, there's so much more to learn.
Well, it's not false, bro. It's true. There's that much more to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, good.
And, you know, you guys, you don't compete very often, but, you know, when you, Brett, Jack compete, it's like a clinic on, you know, other black belts.
Sometimes it works out that way,
Yeah.
man. Sometimes. I mean, we've all
where'd
taken
your
our
ego
lickings.
go? Where'd your ego
Yeah,
go?
right. Well, like that's
He got real humble right
well,
there.
my ego's when
It's
I'm
on
leading,
film.
man.
It's on film.
My ego's when I'm leading, right? Like that's different. But no, we've taken so many lumps too, and it's like very, very flattering when you say like you guys are good black belts, because obviously I have the same experience as you at different. Like I go to megatons, and I'm like, man, there's levels to this game. These are black belts, wow, you know, and even Megaton himself. Good Lord, 60, who knows? I'm not supposed to say his age, Meg, I didn't say it. Something. Nobody knows how old. But
Somebody, don't tag Megaton.
Don't tell. Okay. But he murders dudes.
Yeah.
I mean, I spar with Megaton, it is not fun. I get slapped around. It's amazing. It's like, so, yeah, there's absolutely levels to it, and all that is just like the infinity, what is it? What's the word? Infinites? I don't know. It doesn't end, man.
We're jiu-jitsu
It
guys,
doesn't
don't worry
end.
about
Yeah, no quantum physics over here. No, but it just doesn't end. Like even Megaton would probably say, "I have so much more to learn," and I'd be like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, and that's the idea. The idea is that if it ends, it's not fun. It's got to keep going.
With Esteem Jiu-Jitsu, I feel like a lot of people go to Esteem as a purple belt.
Yeah,
it's where I first started. I felt like it was a good entrance to jiu-jitsu, but it wasn't going to get my jiu-jitsu to where it could or needed to be.
Right.
And I feel like you're almost like finishing school or college. Like Esteem is like, it's that next level. So there's a lot of people that get okay at jiu-jitsu, and then they find your gym and like, oh, this is, you know, the clinic that I need to actually reach those levels.
No, I know what you mean, and I feel like that's kind of an area thing, right? It's geographic. At Petaluma, there's not a lot of jiu-jitsu around this area. You go up a little bit up north, or you go a little bit south, right, to the city, or more south to SoCal, and that's when it starts to get, you know. So if you were to take Esteem and throw them in Southern California, we'd probably be just another gym on the corner. But you put us in Petaluma, and it's true, man. Like Megaton, that connection, you know, the amount that he has changed my game for the more advanced is insane. I started out as at a very basic, fundamentalish kind of a level too, and I felt that. I felt the same feeling that you feel, to the point where now I look back on a lot of those techniques that I was encouraged to do, and I don't ever do them, and I don't teach them, and it's silly, and it's like, but yeah, I feel like glory be to Megaton, man, because that inspiration, right, got me basically aspiring to be like Rafa Mendez guys. Like my passing isn't pressure passing, it's footwork passing. I stand up and I walk around your legs, right? Stuff like that is the difference in a lot of gyms. You get a lot of pressure passers at like fundamental base gyms that aren't going to really get past that point, and then you get a lot of more standing passing at more advanced gyms. That's like one sign you could look for. How are the guys passing, on their feet or on their knees?
That's something I definitely have to fix. Is most of the jiu-jitsu that I've experienced has been like pressure pass, and you stay and you
just hammer into the brick wall, right?
I'm a tiny guy, so I can't do that. You know, when people are around my size, I feel super strong, the pressure's on and everything. But yeah, and I was learning from bigger guys, you know, most of them were like around 200 pounds, maybe a little bit more. And so it was like, okay, practice that when I had a chance to get on top, because most of the time I was on the bottom being smashed. Right. But yeah, that pressure pass game, I feel decent with, but backing out, I have to do it more.
Back away. Yep.
Yeah, get
know
out.
when to back away,
make
man.
It right.
Know when to back away. Huge thing to learn.
All right, guys. I think that's an hour.
Did we do an hour?
I think we did an hour.
Close, not bad.
Great having you in, Michael.
Yeah, that was cool, man.
Yeah.
My man.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you have an idea for the name of the podcast, leave it down below. Again, don't tag Megaton.
No, I didn't say his whole age. I like started to and then stopped. It's nobody knows
You
anyway.
tell him not to. And then
What's gonna happen now?
All right, guys. Until the next one.